Alright, so y'all go ahead and do the factoring and the math knowledge question for today. Pause the video, and once everyone is finished, you can unpause the video and I'll go over the correct answers. So we're going to start off by removing the 9, and we'll have x squared plus 60x plus 900. And then when you replace and factor, you'll have 9x plus 30 times 9x plus 30. Both of those will divide by 3, which will leave you with 3x plus 10 times 3x plus 10, which you can also write as 3x plus 10 squared. For the math knowledge question, they want to know which one is the most accurate. It's not B, because it's not consistently the same amount. This amount here is a lot smaller than the amount here. So we can go ahead and mark out B. The yearly profits is F, and G is the actual. So this is the actual. So it's not greater than what was projected. So it's not C. The two graphs show no difference. They do show a difference. So it's not D, because there is a difference between F and G. The yearly profits started to decline. No, they started increasing. So it's not E. The only correct option would be A. It says they were about 3/4 as large as projected. So it's a little bit less than what was projected. So that's your answer. So we're looking at lesson 47 today. We're going to look at vertical sinusoid translations. And then we're going to look at arctan. So hopefully after this lesson you'll understand vertical sinusoid translations and arctan. We're going to go just to look at a graph. Remember, if you want to shift it up, you would make it x squared. We shifted it up to 2, so x squared plus 2. And if we wanted to shift it down, we would say x squared minus 2. So if you shift it up, you add. If you shift it down, you subtract. Now when we do the sinusoids, we're going to make it 2 plus x squared or negative 2 plus x squared. We're going to put the vertical shift at the front. But other than that, it's the same concept as with any other graph. Whenever we graph sinusoids and they're at the origin, we make this a solid line here. But on this one, we're not going through the origin, we're going up here. And so they make a dotted line for the center line. And so typically they're not going to do one like this. They're just going to do this. They're not going to tell you, like, they're not going to show you the origin on your graph. They're just going to say, here's our center line, and the positive x or positive theta is going this direction. So they're just going to condense only to the part that we need to be looking at. So let's look at these two. We want to write the equation here. So for this first one, we are going to be learning about CAFPA eventually, but right now we are only to the C, A, and F. The C is for centerline. The A is for amplitude. And then the F is for your function. Is it sine or cosine or whatever? So the center line is the new part for today. The amplitude and then the sine or cosine part we've already been dealing with. So the center line here is at 4. From 4 to 6 is a 2. So we're going up 2. And it's a positive sinusoid. So a positive sine, and then we have theta. And so that would be your equation for this one. So we're looking at the CAF part of the CAFPA. Eventually we'll get to the P and the A. But this is just 4 plus 2 sine of theta. For this one, the center line is negative 10. We are going from negative 10 to negative 14, and that's a difference of 4. And then this one is a sine, but it's going down, so it's a negative sine, and then theta. So that would be your equation for that one. Okay, we're going to look at two more. I actually want y'all to pause the video and try these by yourself. Okay, so now we're going to look at our CAFPA. So our C is our center line. Our center line here is -8. We are going up to -5, which is a difference of 3. And it is hitting a maximum. So that means it's a positive cosine. So that would be our equation for this sinusoid. And then looking at this one, our center line is 7. The difference here is a 2. And it's hitting a minimum, so it's going to be a negative cosine function. And so that would be the equation for that sinusoid. Okay, so that's how those work. They're not terribly difficult as long as you are making sure to put every step in there. Start with your center line, then go to your amplitude, and then is it a positive or a negative sine or cosine? All right, so now we're going to look at our arctan. So we haven't really done arctan of tangent. You don't just cancel these out and make it 135. First thing we have to do, the tangent of 135. So hopefully you're remembering your unit circle, but just in case, we have a 45-degree angle and it's in the second quadrant. So it's negative and the tangent of 45 is 1. So now we're looking for what is the arctan of -1. Remember that for arctan or tangent inverse, you're going from -90 to 90. We're in either the first or the fourth quadrant. So if we're -1, that means we're going to be in the fourth quadrant here. So what angle would give us a -1 for tangent? Well, that's going to be -45 degrees because you're going to go down by 45. And so that would be your answer there. So just because you have arctangent and tangent doesn't mean that it's going to be equal to 135. You have to make sure you're in between the correct range here. Okay, so now we're going to look at your homework. You don't have any to omit, so make sure that y'all do all of them tonight so we can go over any questions that you have tomorrow.